Welcome back. In the last video, we covered what is machine learning model deployment and why would you want to deploy a machine learning model. And of course, one of the main reasons is to test on the fourth data set, to test your model in the real world. I mean, metrics on your training, validation, and test sets, of course, they're nice to see those numbers go up on a page, but it's even cooler to see your model perform in the real world. And plus, if you deploy your model to the real world, well, then you can start to find out errors that you didn't necessarily find on the training, validation, or test set. Then we looked at our PyTorch workflow and added another step here, which was to deploy and monitor. We see our model just replicating all over the world there. Deploy and monitor, and then if we find something wrong, we can update it when necessary. Then we went and reviewed the machine learning engineer steps to download a paper. We've already done that, or we've implemented the vision transformer paper. Keep doing that till you have skills, so that's going to take a little bit of practice to keep going. But then if you want to take it even further, well, the next step would be machine learning engineering. So if these steps are machine learning research, machine learning engineering would be making your research available to others. So building infrastructure, such as deployment infrastructure and monitoring infrastructure, around your models and data pre-processing steps. And we defined the workflow we've been going through as more of a general machine learning workflow to find some data and build a model to find patterns in it. But the broader workflow of machine learning operations is the extension of this workflow. So to deploy and monitor it, which is machine learning operations or ML ops, also known as machine learning engineering. And for extra resources on that rapidly evolving topic, I'd highly recommend here. This is in PyTorch Extra Resources. Here we go. So we covered a fair bit of ground in the last video. We left on the question, what kinds of machine learning model deployments are there? And so when I go to deploy machine learning models, I like to ask myself a few questions. So I start with the most ideal use case. So the question, what is my most ideal machine learning model deployment scenario? I start here and then I work backwards. Then I ask, where's my model going to go? And finally, how's my model going to function? And now, of course, there are more questions, but these are three of my favorites. So what is my most ideal machine learning model deployment scenario? Well, the ideal scenario for me would be that my model works every time, as in for Food Vision Mini. Well, that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be working on Food Vision Mini, becoming machine learning engineers ourselves. So our ideal scenario would be that Food Vision Mini works every time someone takes a photo of food, Food Vision Mini gets it right. Is that possible? Well, this is the most ideal use case, right? And then number two is that it works very fast, as in it works at the speed of light. Why the speed of light? Well, because we're dealing with technology here, and computers can operate at their very fastest at the speed of light, because we're moving data around electronic components. We're not really going to get the actual speed of light. There's always going to be a little bit of a delay, but that's the most ideal use case. So here we go. For Food Vision Mini, it works every time and we've got the speed of light. That's our goal. So we have to start here and then work backwards to get towards here. Now next, where's my model going to go? So in the case of Food Vision Mini, what are our options? Or really, these are more general, these options here, but we're going to apply this question directly to Food Vision Mini. So where's my model going to go? On device, as in the edge, or the cloud? So on device would mean that there's a machine learning model on the actual device you're using. So in our case for Food Vision Mini, if we deployed that to a mobile phone, our model would live on that mobile phone. Whereas the cloud, what is the cloud? What is the cloud? Here we go. The cloud is made up of servers in data centers all over the world. Moving to the cloud can save companies money and add convenience for users. Beautiful. So the cloud refers to servers that are accessed over the internet and the software databases that run on those servers. So when we say, or when people say the cloud, if we deploy our model to the cloud, that just means it's on a computer that isn't the actual device that we're using. So we'll revisit these two concepts later on. And then finally, we ask the question, how's my model going to function? So we've got the most ideal use case. We figure out where it's going to go. Then we ask, how's my model going to function? And of course, you can jump in between these. There's no real order to this. Number one would be online in real time. Number two would be offline, so in a batch way. Let me give an example. Online would mean real time. We take a photo with Food Vision Mini and it returns predictions instantly. Now, offline would be, hey, maybe we take 10 photos and then we get predictions an hour later. So it does it in batch. So the main two difference here is one is real time, one is later on, has a little bit of a delay. So we've actually already been doing offline machine learning modeling for our training. We train on a batch of examples at a time. And of course, these can mix and match depending on your use case. On-device models tend to be smaller because there's not much compute on a mobile phone. So we could have one model on the device, and if it doesn't work very well, well, then it defaults to going to a cloud model because the cloud offers almost infinite compute. And then same here, we've just discussed that we could have our prediction pipeline is real time. So when someone takes a photo of food, it gives the result back straight away, whereas our training pipeline is offline. So it happens in a batch format. There's a little bit of a delay. So these are the three questions to ask. What is my most ideal machine learning model deployment scenario? For Food Vision Mini or for general machine learning models is it works every time. That would be amazing if it did. Now, of course, in the world of probabilistic models, that is very unlikely. And two, it works at the speed of light because a slow app is a boring app, right? We want our predictions to be as fast as possible. Then, once we've got our most ideal use case, it's helpful to think about where's my model going to go? Does it live on the actual device or can it live on the cloud? Well, we'll discuss this question a bit more in a second. And then, how's my model going to function? Is it online? So does it return predictions in real time? So as soon as data comes in, predictions come back? Or does it work in an offline fashion, such as training a model offline, or the predictions take a little while to come back? So have a think about these, and we're going to dive into each of these a little bit more before we get into some code. I'll see you in the next video.